He got the Sonic rings knocked out of his
And his chin served on a platter.
That's all it is.
He fights out of Orlando, Florida. He is too much. Jean-Pierre St. Louis.
Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know about the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight that happened December 19th, 2025, this past Friday. Now, I've seen a lot of people giving their uneducated opinions on boxing, what Jake Paul did well, what Anthony Joshua did well, what he did bad. And all of it is just kind of dumb because most of these people don't box. They don't do any combat sports, nothing.
Most people don't know shit about boxing at all, period.
So I wanted to give some of my opinions on the fight. Now, a little background info. My name is JP Too Much St. Louis. I'm a professional MMA fighter with 17 fights. 12-5 is my record with 10 finishes. I've been fighting for a long time now, since 2011, and that's including kickboxing, American kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, and one boxing fight. But I'm going to give a little info on Anthony Joshua because it seems like some people are a little bit new to his name and who he is as a fighter, seeing that he fought Jake Paul, who's a megastar. Now, when I say megastar, I mean that very loosely. Jake Paul has a lot of notoriety from his antics on YouTube to being Logan Paul's little brother and his boxing fights. Now, due to a lot of that, it seemed like more people knew who Jake Paul was in comparison to Anthony Joshua, where you have to be a boxing fan to know that. A lot of Jake Paul's fans are casuals, so that's why I use the term megastar. Now, Anthony Joshua is 36 years old. He has a record of 29-4. His last fight before TKOing Jake Paul was a loss against Daniel Dubois, and that was September 2024. Don't remember the exact date, but he was coming off of a loss and a long layoff. And Anthony Joshua is a legitimate boxer. He's got a gold medal in the 2012 London Olympics. He's a silver medalist in the 2011 Baku World Championships. I don't even know what Baku World Championships is, but it's one of his accolades. He's an ABA gold medalist 2010 and 2011, and a gold medalist in the Great Britain World Championships 2010. He's also the guy who knocked out Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champ, in round 2 of their fight. And a lot of people were just now hearing of who Anthony Joshua is. Now, if you're familiar with boxing, you're into boxing, you probably know who Anthony Joshua is. Now, Jake Paul, he's just a YouTuber that started boxing, lives in Puerto Rico. That's about it. Have to give him some credit for just training and stepping in the ring with a guy like Anthony Joshua. Now, I'm not a Jake Paul fan at all, but to step in the ring with someone of that caliber, it takes some balls. Granted, I will say getting paid about $92 million would make anybody fight anybody. I'll fight Anthony Joshua for $92 million. The reported purse for the fight was about $184 total, so they both pocketed $92 million. Now, after tax, probably gonna be way less, but still, that much money at once, crazy. But my thoughts on the fight, really, I didn't think that Anthony Joshua looked that great. It felt like he was kind of following Jake Paul a little bit too much. He wasn't using his footwork to cut off Jake Paul. Now, there was a few times that he did do it, and he was able to get some shots off, but it didn't seem like he was finding his range like that because he wasn't catching him clean. Some shots were just grazing him a little bit. But I also will say that for people that are saying that Jake Paul did so much better, he went 6 rounds with a guy like Anthony Joshua. Stop. I don't think you guys realize how hard it is to fight somebody who's not trying to fight you. If you've watched the fight, you'll see that every time Jake Paul got hit by Anthony Joshua or even got grazed, he immediately shot a double leg takedown. It was bad double legs too. Just had to say it. Which is wild because I could have sworn we were watching boxing, not MMA. Which can be really confusing for if you're expecting a boxing fight and the guy is shooting on you like that. It was honestly pitiful. I'd say it was about 10 to 20 shots that Jake Paul took on Anthony Joshua, which I think the ref should have intervened and even maybe deducted a point for the amount of times that happened, because that's unacceptable. You should not be seeing that in a boxing fight. You should not be doing that against the caliber fighter of Anthony Joshua. It was just pitiful. And I'm not going to go and say that this was like a disgrace to boxing or anything like that. It was a spectacle, definitely. It had the big fight feel, but was still mostly spectacle. A lot of people were just tuning in to watch Jake Paul get knocked out. But I feel like some people are upset with how long it took Anthony Joshua to knock him out, which is why I say have some understanding that when you're fighting somebody who's not trying to fight, it's going to be a little bit harder to finish that person. Now, had Jake Paul actually been trying to fight Anthony Joshua from the moment that first bell rang, he would have gotten knocked out so much quicker because he would not be able to stand with Anthony Joshua at all. Anthony Joshua is too powerful. He's too good. He's got the reach advantage, speed advantage, footwork, everything. He's just better than him. He's an all-around better fighter than Jake Paul. Jake Paul knew this, which is where I say Jake Paul is extremely brave for taking a fight like that, or maybe he's just delusional. I don't really know. But to take a fight like that against such a high caliber fighter, you got to have some type of confidence. That is also why he made the game plan that he did to kind of just dance around. He was running. It was like a track meet. Every time Anthony Joshua got close, just ran off. Or if he got close, he would shoot on him.
I can't let you get close.
Not the greatest display of boxing, which kind of proved what everyone already knew that knows anything about boxing. Jake Paul can't box. And Jake Paul is not a small dude. He's standing at around 6'1", 6'2", maybe. And he's about 220 to 230 pounds. So he's not small by any means. So the dude hits hard. There's no doubt about that. But he's just not a boxer. That doesn't take away from any of the fighters that he previously beat. The only one I'd say is Nate Robinson, because Nate Robinson is not a fighter at all. But anyone can be beat. Now, and that is not to take away from anything that he's done in terms of business, because he's blown himself up like no other. Nobody was talking about Jake Paul like that until he started doing the boxing. Now, he had his YouTube stuff. He was being annoying, whatever you want to call it. But he did bring some attention to boxing. Whether that's the right attention that the boxing community needs, that's a video and a discussion for another day. But back to the Jake Paul fight itself, I'm not giving Jake Paul much credit for lasting 6 rounds, because really it was him running for 6 rounds until he got cut off and then rocked. He got the sonic rings knocked out of his ass.
And his chin served on a platter. For that.
That's all it is. We knew it was going to happen. We thought it would happen a little bit earlier. But like everything with fighting, it's just different when you're in there. And a lot of times when someone is less skilled and they do weird stuff, it can actually make it a little bit harder to get their timing. But once you get it, they're dead. And that's exactly what happened. Earlier on, the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, Alycia Baumgardner fought. I had originally butchered Alycia Baumgardner's opponent's name, Leila Beaudoin. And I wanted to make sure that I got that right, gave her the respect. So yeah, that's who she fought on the card. But yeah, Alycia Baumgardner fought, and she had a beautiful performance. She's a great boxer, and a lot of people don't know who she is if they don't know boxing. Now, she is extremely popular, so that's not taking away from anything. And seeing Alycia Baumgardner on the card was dope, because so many people were watching because of that main event, but they were able to get hip to some other boxers. So I love that. I love that for women's boxing. I love the 3-minute rounds. I love them getting treated equally, because they're working just as hard as us. They should have the same amount of time and be able to show the amount of skills that they do have. So hats off to Alycia. Now, when it comes to the Anderson Silva versus Tyron Woodley fight, this is a tough fight for me to watch. Tyron Woodley is a good friend of mine. Look up to him. Have been training with him since 2015, or at least I started training with him 2015. Anderson Silva is damn near everybody's favorite fighter. So watching a fight like that is tough. Granted, I was pulling for my guy Tyron. Unfortunately, he got finished. It was a clean uppercut, and then he got hit with a hook. It seemed like he was trying to tie up, fell to the ground, and the fight got called. I wasn't sure what happened, because Tyron was ready to go, but the ref called it, and I don't know, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. I don't agree with it, but I'm not the ref. But yeah, Anderson Silva is always going to be one of the GOATs. He showed that once he gets going, you know, when he's doing all this stuff, he's about to do something, and that's exactly what happened. I'm happy that Tyron was able to stand up on his own 2 feet, walk out of the cage, and it's on to the next one. Those are my thoughts on the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. The finish happened a lot later than what we thought, but it is what it is. Fighting is fighting. It's always going to be different when you're in there. Now, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Do you think Anthony Joshua did a shitty job, or do you think Jake Paul is actually better than what you thought he was? Did you watch any of the other fights on the card, or did you just tune in for the main card? I'm curious to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the comment section. Always like, subscribe, share, and comment. Looking forward to doing more post-fight breakdowns just like this, and if you want to see those, hit that subscribe button. But all right, JP Too Much, take it easy.